This experience happened to me in 2020. The world was shutting down because of COVID and everyone was cooped up in their homes. Being an avid backpacker and camper, I used COVID as an excuse to travel to different national parks and camp out in different places. One of those places was a creek in Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado.
Rocky Mountain?
Without giving away my identity or revealing too much
Isn't Rocky Mountain? Didn't we go to Rocky Mountain one time?
The fuck is Rocky Mountain, Nevada? Yo, is he walking on a zipline or a bridge?
Bridge.
Information. Let's just say something happened with my job back in 2019.
I'm scared already. Nah, guys, don't worry, I'm here to protect y'all.
And a good number of people despised me.
I'm scared, man.
I had to change apartments, get a new phone number, and eventually quit my job. The mistake I made caused a good number of people to lose a lot of money, so the shitstorm was expected. I just didn't know how far it would go. I was literally getting harassed by different random numbers for a while. Some texts were even threatening. I didn't know if they were from the same person or different people each time, but I considered the possibility that it was one person texting me from a bunch of different numbers. For a while it seemed to stop, and I was grateful that people seemed to lose interest or just move on. I wasn't working around this time. I was taking time to myself, hence another reason I was traveling around to different national parks. I drove the 3 hours to Rocky Mountain National Park, parked my truck, and started my hike up the trail to the creek. There was nobody else there. I'm sure that was because this was right when the lockdown started and people were taking it very seriously and not leaving their houses. That, and it was also still the winter time. There was a thin sheet of snow on the ground, hard enough that it made that loud crunching sound with every footstep.
Oh, that shit's so satisfying.
After a little while, I made it to the creek, and it wasn't frozen. It was still flowing. It was incredibly peaceful. And this was a detox I needed from the stresses of my life at the time.
Bro, that water is...
I found a place a little ways off the path to set up
I'll
camp.
just get a cup. Oh
Me too.
After the tent was set up, I chopped up some wood, started a fire, I cooked some sausages on the stove. Then I started reading my book by the fire. After finishing a few chapters, it was getting dark out. Thank God for headlamps. I rolled a J and started smoking it. After a few hits, I felt my phone start going off. Honestly, apart from my family, I don't have a lot of people texting me, so I pulled out my phone from my jacket pocket and saw a bunch of texts from an unknown number. My heart skipped a beat when I realized it was happening again.
You definitely
The texts were from a number with a 203 area code, which I looked up to be Connecticut. Whoever it was texted me saying, "How's your camping going, buddy?" The second text said, "It's beautiful out here." The third text said, "I see why you came up here." My default reaction was to respond, "Who is this?" If they simply left it at "How's the camping going?" I would have assumed it was a family member, but they were sending messages as if they were here with me. The weed had already entered my system and I was definitely high. This did not help my anxiety one bit. I felt extremely paranoid and started looking around me, standing up and doing a complete 360, looking in every direction out to the increasingly darkening woods. I went to get my P365 handgun from my bag just to make me feel safer.
That's a sig.
Usually I'd put a fire out before calling it a night, but as paranoid as I was feeling now, the thought of being in total darkness freaked me out. I went into the tent and crawled onto my sleeping bag.
Why not drive back
I stared
home?
at my phone, at the texts, waiting for a response which didn't come. Minutes dragged on, and I just wanted the weed to wear off,
It's like waiting
honestly.
up playing a game.
I still had my headlamp on, so I tried to continue where I left off in my book. But between being high and my mind being stuck on those texts, I was kidding myself thinking I could read. I decided to just watch YouTube videos on my phone to pass the time. I didn't feel comfortable going to sleep just yet. I was watching some murder documentary on YouTube. I know, a pretty interesting choice considering the setting. And when I least expected it, I got another text. A response to my question before. They responded, "Doesn't matter anymore." My heart started racing all over again. I replied back, "How did you know I'm camping?" But once again, no response after this. The anxiety of this situation was weighing heavier and heavier on me. Was this a prank by a friend or family member? Or was this one of those people harassing me again? But if it was the latter, how would they know I'm camping? That's the really uncomfortable part. I managed to kill an hour just watching videos on my phone, and I noticed the glow from the fire outside was growing dimmer and dimmer as the fire died down to almost nothing. In the wintertime, without the sound of bugs, the woods are dead silent apart from wind on a windy night. The second a video would stop playing, the silence would become deafening. Usually, I'd embrace the peace, but my peace was completely disturbed because of these texts. Something then broke the silence, the unmistakable sound of human footsteps in the snow. They approached my tent until they were only maybe 6 feet from outside the tent. Then the footsteps stopped. I had the gun tightly gripped in my hand, ready to turn the safety off. There was suddenly a flash from outside. It looked like someone briefly shined a flashlight at the tent, or they took a picture. I had my answer soon enough.
Oh, I did time you. Yeah, that's my bad. I did. Oh, no, my bad, dude. I did it on purpose, but yeah, I did time you.
For 10 minutes.
Check your phone. Yo, guys, actually knock it off. Actually knock it off. Dude, Elements fucking, yo, bro, that kid is so weird. That kid is actually so weird, bro. Bro, how do you even get it?
I got like 4 different numbers.
I heard the person walk away now, before their footsteps slowly faded out to silence. And as I expected to happen in the back of my mind, my phone...
Do y'all believe this story seems made up? Honestly, I kind of believe it. I kind of believe it.
OG. Are you 4 years fucking old, bro?
What?
Shut the fuck up.
What does that even mean? Only reason I believe it is because when I used to smoke, literally every single time, some weird ass shit used to happen.
Bro, literally,
like,
nothing would be a coincidence.
Yeah,
everything
like,
would just
bro, so I feel like just the fact that he did it, bro, the universe just tried, like, trolling him and, like, getting him, like, to green out. So I think it is. I think it is true.
Phone dinged and vibrated, and that number sent me a photo. The photo was of my tent. Following that was a text that said, "Have a good night's sleep."
Bruh. He sent a picture of his tent and said, "Have a good night's sleep."
Can't explain it.
Bro, and watch this video, he's gonna stay here.
Completely
He's gonna
snapped out of...
Yeah, he's probably gonna go to sleep.
He's still gonna sleep in
People
the
are
tent.
so dumb. Have some fucking self-awareness. Anything could happen in the woods. That's why I stay away. Bro, I know.
Yo, should we do a 10-hour camping stream in the Appalachian Mountains?
I'm not doing it in the Appalachian. It's Appalachian.
Appalachian Mountains.
Fuck no, but I'm actually down to do a camping IRL stream.
Yo, fuck.
That'd
Yo,
be
let's
so
go to
far.
Yosemite.
I'm down.
One time I went to Yosemite and I
That would be so
hotboxed our
fire.
tent. Oh my god. And we cooked hot dogs, hotboxed the tent.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm saying, like, it would definitely be fun. Dan, who leaked the number? It was one of Zebo's friends, bro. One of Zebo's friends. I got raped in the woods?
Yo, what?
What?
No, I mean, I was gonna sit... Never.
The remainder of my high, and a bout of adrenaline and confidence overwhelmed me. I unzipped the tent and shot 2 rounds into the
10
air.
hour, no, 10 hour deal.
The sound of footsteps running away in the snow and then running away. I unzipped the tent and shot 2 rounds into the air. And the sound of footsteps running away in the snow in the not so far distance told me that it worked and scared the person off.
Are you
him.
dumb?
Chase
You think
him.
just because you shot 2 bullets, you're off the hook, boy?
Chase him, bro. Go fucking, yo, if he's running away, go finish the job. He's
Oh
fucking
my
stalking
god,
you,
you
bro.
guys remember, always save 1 bullet in the chamber
It's
for yourself.
actually crazy how, like, low fucking, like, bro, it's generally getting me mad how low IQ, like, you could have.
But it also disturbed me even more that would mean they were still hiding somewhere in the distance, watching. I screamed a threat into the air and climbed back inside my tent.
He screamed a threat in the air.
Does that mean he's...
Oh, don't let me catch you! The fuck are you doing?
Oh, that ought that ought to do it.
Oh, some people, bro. Some people. I bet you this guy looked like Nate. Not like that Nate. Like, you know which Nate.
I believe it worked because there were no more texts and no more sounds of footsteps.
Can me and Ligma be friends off stream?
Yo, fuck no. Stop
I was awake for
talking to
hours
me.
after, simply because the occurrence completely woke me up.
Yo, Flight!
I felt like I...
Flight! What is wrong with you, Flight?
Yo, now I know why you need mods.
Yo,
bro.
Flight, what the hell is wrong with you, bro?
Bro with the hard R right there, bro.
Flight! That's why you got out of bed. Don't say he didn't say it. Al Mod, our mod isn't here. Nathan went to sleep, bro. He's not feeling good. I get him, bro. I actually get him.
Why would you time him out and not time him right after? I'm here, but I'm bored. You could go make some sea bass on the grill, you fucking white olive.
Don't listen to him.
I drank 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah, W easy, man.
Eventually, I did fall asleep, and waking up to morning sunlight was a huge relief.
I don't know how
Whoever
you fell
followed me
asleep.
there was not ready for me to pull a gun. I definitely don't seem the type of person that would own a gun, and I know that.
That's how you know.
That was
That's how
my
you know
first time
person.
shooting that gun since buying it, and in fact my only time to this day. Whoever had been texting me, harassing me, and apparently stalking me, apparently decided to back off when they found out I had a gun, because almost 5 years later now, and I haven't been bothered. Still, it was a nightmarish night, and I can't imagine how different.
Wait,
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking.
Because I know what I'm thinking.
In 5 years from now, he gets another text.
I'm thinking he said this guy stopped right when he got a gun, right? Right when he figured out he had a gun.
He had a what?
The guy stopped stalking him right when he found out he had a gun.
Yes, that's the moral of the story.
He probably had some little fucking freak to thought yo, let's stalk this nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's a loser. He also said he doesn't look like the guy to have a gun. He probably looked like some absolute goofy nerd.
Fuck would go out there.
But I'm saying a low life loser. A low life loser. He's probably like, yo, this guy looks mad funny. Let me stalk him. And then when he saw you had a gun, he's like, all right, fuck this. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I don't know. If I catch him in the woods and there's no cameras, no things, let's just say my favorite fruit is grapes.
He redeemed flex for you.
Oh, would you look at this? I don't think.
Wow,
Should I flex my testiculars?
Let's start the video, okay? You're getting a little bit too crazy.
In my
Danny, he's 100 times bigger than you. No, he's not. Like, he'll even say that. Like, he's not bigger than me, bro.
Yeah, I overpower you, my boy. Like, I overpower you. I bet you someone in chat said that before. Oh my god!
You read his fucking chat. I don't know why you pretend to be surprised.
It's on top.
Yeah, I saw you read it. Dude, you don't think I look at you fucking every 5 seconds?
Yo, what? Does that mean you know Does that mean you know that I overpower you because you keep looking at me?
Out if I wasn't
Then I can guess what you do next. What are you guessing?
armed.
Scott Rocket.
Yo,
Sounds
the
like Snot Rocket.
I was thinking, bro, what are we just gonna see Max?
During
Yo,
my
where you going?
childhood, every year.
Yo, come on, bro. Bro.
Story time's fucking over.
Bro, stop. Actually, stop. Yo, stop. Yo, sit. Bro, sit down, bro. Stop. It's not over. Yo! The joke wasn't not that bad. It was not that bad of a joke.
My family would have a tradition where we'd all go up to northern Michigan for a weekend in October. Our Uncle Jim used to
I know,
own a
Verb, he's an
4-acre
elbow league. He's
property
an
up
elbow
there. The house on the property could fit a lot of people, with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms.
Chat, who wants to Postmate me or Uber Eats me some Domino's? Flip Farm? That was actually not scripted on my life. That was actually not scripted. He just walked out. He was actually supposed to stay till the end of stream. I can't, please, Sebastian. I'm so hungry, bro. I'm so hungry. I'm drawing. You saw.
2 bedrooms were set up for my cousins and my siblings. So my brother and sister in one room and our 4 cousins in another room. The other rooms were for all of our parents. My Uncle Jim has always been a big hunter.
Send your address. Just put it next to North Top. You know what I hate about streaming? That when if you say something, you can't rewind and erase that. Say it again. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say nothing. Okay. Alright, it's not your ugly ass. Uzi, come on. You definitely could, bro.
Fisherman. He'd go on camping trips specifically for hunting all around the country.
You can't rewind IRL.
My dad has gone
I know,
camping
but I'm
with him
saying,
a few
like, I wish I
times,
could.
even though he's
I
an
wish, like,
animal
sometimes
lover
I
and would never
accidentally
harm a
slip
fly.
up. I wish I could just rewind
Part of
it
the
in real
4
life.
acres that my uncle owned was a big chunk of forest. He marked a line of trees with red paint to mark the property line. Beyond that was just forest owned by the county. I don't know. The nearest house in that direction was probably miles away.
It's a nice-ass house.
Me, my brother Adam, and my cousins Jake and Joe all came up with an idea at lunch when our dads were talking about hunting.
Every person... Why is there always one Jake in the story? Every fucking story I hear, there's always a Jake. Bro, is Jake the most common name in the world? Where's Ligma? He want to get dressed fast because, guys, in case you guys didn't know, my whole family is going somewhere, okay? They said, yo, Danny, you're coming. My dad literally told me, yo, I need you to come. Like, you're not staying home. I was like, yo, Dad, more important things in life, like streaming. And I told Ligma, I ain't going, bro. I'm staying here where I belong, and I'm streaming. And that's what I did. And that's what I did. That's what I did. W's in the chat.
We wanted to go camping in the woods that night. Our dads were on board with it. They were definitely already kind of drunk, so more likely to say yes to stuff. Our moms weren't as on board, but they didn't directly say no. So my dad and Uncle Jim took the four of us into the woods with a tent. My girl cousins and sister were not involved in this. It was just us.
I don't care what you say. Any single scary story is less scary if you have like a dad or uncle in there. Automatically. Like, doesn't matter if they're even 90. Just the fact that they're your uncle, you know, or your dad or something. It's less scary. Wow, give yourself a pat on the back. I know. Where they're going though, they're going to how do I say it? I know the word, and it's not really like a. Think of it as like, not really a family reunion, but like a reunion with family and friends, and then like a barbecue. I don't know exactly how to say that. I don't know how to really say that. But if that makes sense, if you could kind of picture it like that. And I'm staying here. I'm missing out on some steaks, some grilled chicken, some hot dogs, but it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good because I'm going to have cereal later on.
Boys.
Some nice cereal and milk.
They led us into the woods, and when Joey, the youngest of us, started complaining that it's too far, they started laughing. That's how our dads are when they're together, especially when they drink.
Stop acting like it's our fault. When did I say it's your fault? I was just genuinely saying that I wish I could have some barbecue right now. Nah, but bro, you know, it is what it is, bro. Yo, how many flies are there here, bro? Dead ass. 1, 2. Is that the second one or is that a third one? I'm pretty sure I have 3 small ass flies in my room, bro. That's actually insane. You're trying to make us feel bad? Low-key a little bit. Low-key a little bit. Yeah. Bro, because listen, bro. It's not really in a sense of, like, trying to guilt trip you guys. It's more of in a sense to kind of guilt trip you guys into ordering me, like, maybe some Texas barbecue or something. I don't know. Some Domino's, Texas barbecue. Either one would be fine. Either one would be fine. And, by the way, you know, instead of, like, a sub, you could get me food.
Messing with us as kids.
I didn't eat today. Be grateful. Is it still Ramadan? Is it still Ramadan?
Speaking of ages.
Then whose number I got? No comment.
I'm oldest. At the time, I was around 13. Adam and Jake were around 10, and Joe was around 9. We went beyond the property line.
What the fuck? I don't do that? Oh. I thought you do. I mean, it's not the fuck. You know, a lot of people do it. I didn't have any food. Why not?
As there was this small clearing in the woods with a bunch of soft green, mossy-looking stuff that my uncle referred to as deer beds, I'm pretty sure. He said it was perfect for a campsite and that he's used it before. My dad and Uncle Jim kind of gave us a half-drunk lesson on setting up a tent. They made us help out so that it wasn't just them doing all of the work.
Okay.
It was a really big tent, big enough for 4 people, especially kids. Once it was set up, we put our sleeping bags inside. We did this during the day because obviously it was infinitely easier than doing it at night. After all of that, we went back to the house and played games outside until dinner time. At dinner, our moms again expressed that they weren't fans of this idea, that we were too young to be out in the woods alone. Our dads insisted that we'd be fine, and I remember my dad making a joke that we'd be close enough for them to hear our screams if something were to go wrong. It wasn't until later on that our dads led us back into the woods to the tent. We all had flashlights and extra blankets since it was cold at night. I also brought a deck of Uno cards for us to play.
Uno's so fire.
When we all got situated in the tent, my dad and Uncle Jim...
Chat, real quick, sorry to pause it, but what's your favorite board game? If I have to say like one board game where I could bring anywhere to play, I have three. Connect 4 is going to be number 3. Number 2 is going to be probably Checkers, and number 1 by far, Monopoly Go. Of course, Monopoly. Are you kidding me? Monopoly's number 1. Bro, Monopoly's number 1, bro. Monopoly's number 1. Connect 4 isn't really a board game? Is it not? I thought it was. I don't know. Those 3 games, though, for sure. I fuck with those 3 games. I love those games, bro. Checkers, Connect 4, Monopoly.
And left back to the house. We were suddenly alone in the woods.
It could count. Okay,
Honestly,
okay. What about
we
you?
weren't
What about
as
you?
close to the house as you think.
So, Verbs,
we
usually
were
Monopoly,
deep enough
right?
into the woods where you couldn't see any light from the house. We started playing Uno for a while. I'd say half an hour at least. Playing Uno is
I love Daniel Levy so much. Monopoly's #1. Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure.
actually a really good time killer. It passes the time really well. The tent was lit up by our flashlights arranged in a circle. All was fun and swell until we heard a scream in the distance.
But I'm just saying, I'd be scared shitless. I'm not gonna lie, but I did hear that a lot of animals could sound like humans screaming. So, oh my god, I have not heard of Candyland in like fucking 10 years. Oh my god, yo, I remember Candyland. Candyland is fun as fuck. Candyland is fun as fuck, bro. I remember all the time I used to reach the fucking, about to reach the end, and then boom, bro. Always got to the start again. You're not OG? Dude, yes I am, bro. I used to play Candyland all day.
It sounded like a girl's scream. We all went
Yo,
silent.
I can't, bro. There's legit like 5 flies in here. You unk? I'm not an unk. I'm 20.
Looked at one another with the same faces. I then remembered that foxes' screams sound like the scream of a woman, so I told everyone that. I saw how freaked out Joe was.
I genuinely want to show you guys. I can't focus, bro. Every time I'm trying to focus, I see like fucking fly here, bro. God damn. It's actually disgusting. I need to like get an exterminator in my room.
So I told everyone that. I saw how freaked out Joe was especially, but my statement calmed everyone down. We continued to play Uno. I actually won like every single round.
Ooh, cool guy.
At that point, no one had mentioned the scream again. It was most likely out of all of our minds. But
I got
it
you,
happened
Sebastian. Give me a sec.
again, and much louder and closer this time. This time, it sounded a lot more human. We all went silent again. This time, even I was freaked out. Joe looked like he was going to cry. I told everyone to
that's a
turn their
little guy.
flashlights off. We crawled to our respective sleeping bags and sat in the darkness. None of us had the courage to run out into the woods back to the house. It's that fear of running and being chased.
You're telling me the dad isn't protected? What kind of dad is this?
And just catching the attention of whatever was out there with the sound of our footsteps. Somehow hiding inside of a cloth tent felt like the safer option, so we waited and waited in silence. We still whispered amongst each other, wondering if it could still be a fox. I was truthful and said, I don't know, hopefully.
A dad that doesn't pretend to be tough? Okay, it's not even about pretending to be tough though, bro. Like at least like be like, yo, kids, calm down, stay all right. You know, I'll protect you guys. Like at least make the kids calm down. Just sitting silent, crawling to your sleeping bag. I don't know if that's pretending not to be tough. It's like it just like I think that's a bad dad.
I don't know who heard it first, but we all sprung up and looked at one another again. When we heard very fast footsteps crunching the leaves approaching the tent,
no.
Then they stopped, and there was an ear-piercing, gut-wrenching scream that sounded
Not a
like
father.
a girl or woman's scream. It was right outside the tent, and the tent started shaking violently. All of us started screaming.
Fuck.
Jake and Jim were screaming in fear, while my brother
Isn't Jake and Jim the dad? Aren't Jake and Jim the dad and uncle?
and I were screaming stuff like, "Get out!" All of us started screaming. Jake and Jim were screaming in fear, while my brother and I were screaming stuff like, "Get out of the tent!"
Okay, you still think that's a good dad? You still think that's a good dad? I'm sorry, bro, but imagine your dad being the role model and you're fucking scared as a little kid and looking up and seeing your dad yell and crying, bro. Yo, I don't care what you guys say. Like, bro, come on, be real. That's not the best dad. Never said he was a good dad. Okay, at least you're agreeing, bro. Like, yo, what kind of dad starts crying in front of the kid? Nah, that's insane.
Tent. I unzipped the door to the tent, and one by one, we all ran into the woods with our flashlights on. The only reason we could see anything. That run back to the house was the most on-edge moment of my life, like a life or death kind of feeling. We made it to the property screaming the whole way, and our entire family was already outside in response to it. All 4 of us made it back safely. We explained the screams and the tent shaking, and they were all shocked and horrified based on their reactions. Then I noticed our cousins Jamie and Christina and my sister weren't outside. I called out my dad and uncle, accusing them of sending one of the girls to scare us, but when he showed us that the girls were already in bed, that's when it was clear. Someone we didn't know was out in the woods. Our dads went out to the woods with a couple of rifles and returned after a while, having found nobody. The next day, we all helped in bringing the tent and other stuff back to the house. Obviously, you can guess that that was a one-and-done thing. We never camped out in those woods again. Hell, we didn't even play outside after dark anymore. What kid would after such an experience?
True.
My guess is as good as anybody's as to who was outside of our tent and why they were doing what they did.
Alright guys, last one. We're gonna hop on the games. Gary Proctor. I thought I said Gay Proctor. Hold on real quick. No, Sebastian, that is not me. That is not me, Sebastian. I don't know. Not sure who that is, but maybe just stop trying to look for me. I don't know. Just a little idea. Okay, last one.
What I'm
Waiting
about
for
to
schedule.
tell
Yeah,
you
schedule one's
still
gonna be
leads me
after.
to
We're gonna do Minecraft tomorrow, chat. We're gonna do Minecraft tomorrow, and we're gonna make it like 3-4 hours.
question what is real and what's not. This happened to my dad and I, and
We should
even
do
now,
brackets.
2
I'm down.
years
I'm down for
later, I
brackets.
get chills just thinking about it. I know how it sounds. If I were you, I wouldn't believe it either, but I swear to you, every word is true.
Okay, let's
2
hear it.
years ago, my dad and I traveled to go camping at a spot out in the deep country. We enjoyed doing this, as it was often a very nice time to get away from real life. This place in particular was a nice spot. Hiking trails, zip lines, a bit touristy, but it has deep history. Native American lands, you know? First night there, it was perfect. Families at other campsites, campfires everywhere, kids laughing, the kind of peaceful night you go camping for. We cooked hot dogs, roasted marshmallows,
I
cracked
actually want to
open
go.
beers.
Yeah, I don't do so like I spend a lot of time with my dad, but I don't do so many activities with my dad. You know, I want to start doing like more stuff with him, like shooting. Like I fuck with shooting. I want to go shooting with him more. I've been shooting with him like 3 times, but I want to go more. I want to go camping. I want to go fishing with him. I'll do a bunch of shit with him. Imagine, chat. Imagine if he agrees. He probably would. I don't even think he'd care. But imagine Ligma, my dad, and me IRL stream camping or like fishing or some shit. That'd be sick.
And made small talk with the people around us.
I only go camping in Nebraska. Isn't it snowing in Nebraska like all the time?
A typical peaceful first night, but the second night is when things started to change. The staff told us we were the only ones in the park. Nobody else booked a site at first.
No way.
We were psyched. A whole campground to ourselves. It sounded peaceful. We spent the day hiking, fishing, taking it slow.
It's
At
actually
one
kind of
point,
nice.
we listened to a scary podcast while sitting by the river, because, you know, why not lean into the spooky atmosphere? We thought we were being funny.
I
At the
wouldn't do
time
that.
the sun started setting, we were feeling
Not
good.
that part in the
A
basket.
little
Okay.
buzzed from the beers, tired in that satisfying way after a long day outdoors. We decided to head to the park's information center to charge our phones and grab some snacks before it got too dark.
Okay.
The walk back to our campsite, that's when the unease set in. The woods felt different. The air was heavier. The sky had this weird tint, like twilight didn't want to leave. My dad turned to me and said, "Doesn't this feel off? Like we're in some kind of dream?" And he was right, it did. The forest felt endless, stretching out in every direction. My chest got tight.
It's kind of weird how like whenever some shit happens, your whole body just starts. That's what's like actually so cool, chat. Like your brain literally knows when something's off. It starts making you like think shit and know shit, and then it's cool, bro. It's actually sick.
Couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. We didn't say much after that, just kept walking, both of us glancing over our shoulders like we expected to see something lurking in the trees. Back at camp, we stayed close to the fire. We didn't really talk about the weird feeling. We didn't need to. It was like we both silently agreed to keep things normal, pretending nothing was wrong. We roasted marshmallows, played music, even smoked some weed to try and distract ourselves.
What's with
Not the
everyone
typical
doing it?
father-son moment you would expect, but by the time the sun dipped below the
I never did that shit with my dad. I wish.
trees, we could no longer see what was in front of us, except for the fire. That's when the uneasy feeling had grown into something worse.
Oh no.
As we sat by the campfire and roasted some s'mores, I want to say at about 9 o'clock, we heard a noise. It was a bang, as if a tree fell.
I'm gonna shower.
Came out of nowhere,
Okay.
loud and close. It echoed through the woods from the direction of the river.
Yo, Uzi, that's
maybe
sick.
100 yards away. We grabbed our flashlights and pointed them toward the sound, but there was nothing. No movement, no glowing eyes, nothing. Bigfoot, we joked, nervous laughs slipping out. But
What does a big tree falling sound like? Like the creaking or like that? My family owns it? Your family owns the lake? Uzi! Uzi! You know what I'm saying? Uzi, I'm kidding. But deadass, Uzi, you know Twitch is actually running a promotion right now. 1,000 subs for a cheap price of like 7,000. Sounds like lake money to me.
but neither of us.
I'm gonna give the 100. Alright, okay, that's fair. JK, you think if they owned it, I'd be here right now? What does that mean? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Deadass.
Believed it. A few minutes passed. and it
Yeah,
came
okay.
again, louder this time. Farther off, but the same sound.
How's it
Same
further but
lane.
louder?
We shined our lights again, but the forest swallowed our flashlights, allowing us to see only the trees surrounding our tent. And then the third bang, closer. That's when the fear hit. Whatever it was moving toward us, like it was circling the campsite. Then, not even before we were able to collect our thoughts, the fourth bang happens. About 20 yards away, maybe less. That's when the
Okay, that's actually kind of scary.
real fear and adrenaline set in. Whatever high I had going from the weed was now long gone. My dad turned to me with his eyes wide. I saw the fear in his face.
I mean, they have guns though, right?
We agreed to get in the tent. We quickly scrambled and threw the last of the firewood onto the fire, hoping the flames would scare off whatever was out there. Then we scrambled into the tent, leaving everything else behind. I ran inside of the tent and quickly dropped to the ground, lying flat. My dad, moving a little slower, following right behind me. As he was about to get into the tent is when the loudest bang happened. So close it felt like the ground shook. My dad froze, staring out into the dark. I said his name, grabbing his attention as he stared in shock, then quickly jumping into the tent. He muttered, "It's standing there." "What's standing there?" I asked. "I don't know,"
Oh, no.
he said, his voice trembling.
Oh
It
no.
was like a wall of darkness. He sat by the zipper as I buried myself under my sleeping bag, trying to move as quietly as I could. He sat there clutching the only weapon we had, a small knife. Useless, really.
GG's.
It was all we had.
GG's.
Then came this vibration noise that is still hard to explain to this day. It started low, like a hum, but it wasn't just sound. It filled the air. It was a feeling inside of us, making our chest tight. I've never felt anything like it. My dad whispered, "You hear that?" I couldn't answer. I just nodded, too scared to make a sound, with the feeling as if we were being hunted.
Yo, Sheldy!
This went on for about 5 minutes as we sat in silence. And then, this other sound. It wasn't an animal, and it wasn't human. It was this.
I already know what I'm thinking. I already know what I'm thinking, bro. I already know what I'm thinking about this shit. Chad, do you guys think aliens are real, bro? I deadass thinks, like, bro, these guys definitely encountered some alien, bro. Definitely encountered some alien that, like, fucked up their, like, bro, some vibrations and shit, bro. Like, yo, that's some alien bullshit, bro.
This guttural, alien-like noise, as I like to put it.
What'd I say? What'd I say, bro?
It honestly sounded like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Nothing I have ever heard before. We stayed frozen in that tent, too scared to breathe, too scared to move. I had this small mesh window right by where I was laying, but I refused to look outside of it with the fear of being seen, just sitting there trying to control my breathing as my dad still sat there with the knife. And that's when the weirdest thing happened. In the middle of all the chaos, we just blacked out. Neither of us remembered trying to fall asleep.
No.
My dad was still clutching the knife when we woke up, lying in the middle of the tent. I woke up on my back in a panic, as if something was standing over me. My first thought was to grab my phone to check the time, but it was dead. I asked my dad to check his. Dead too. Both had been fully charged the night before, making sure we had them
Bro.
working in case of an emergency. We stepped outside to pee. As we stood 5 feet from the tent and peed back to back, still scared out of our minds, we saw that it was still pitch black outside. The air was cold and still. The food we'd left on the table completely untouched. The fire we'd stoked before diving into the tent burned down to ash like it was never touched. The whole place felt wrong, like we shouldn't have been there. We waited the night out in the tent without saying much to each other, just trying to get some real sleep. We packed up in silence, not saying a word until we were in the car. When we finally talked about it, we realized we'd both felt the same thing that night. Watched and hunted, like something was waiting for us to slip up. We told my mom when we got back. She thought we were crazy, said maybe we got drugged or inhaled some weird gas, but it wasn't that.
Yo,
Whatever
Shelby!
happened that night, it was real. We both experienced the same thing. To this day, we don't know what it was. We didn't see it, not fully, but my dad came closest. Whatever he saw, it wasn't human, and it wasn't natural. We never heard any similar story like ours.
I told y'all.
We haven't been back to that camping site
told y'all.
since, or even gone camping since.
I told y'all, bro. I told y'all. I genuinely think it was an alien. Bro, dude, that shit's actually, like, that's, out of every story, that's for sure the one I believe the most. That's for sure the one I believe the most, bro. That just sounds so unhuman, bro. Like, imagine being at the woods, bro. Imagine being at the woods, and you just fucking, trees start falling, or at least you think so, bro. And then you just feel watched, and you feel, like, tight, and you just feel weird, like, unhuman feelings, right? And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then your dad sees some unhuman figure standing there watching you, and then you fucking hear vibrations, and then you just start feeling weird, and then you black out? Fuck no, that's some alien shit, bro. Fuck no. That's insane. Damn, bro. That was a good story, though. That was a very good story, I'm not gonna lie.